cheeky, right? Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for joining, and please sit back, relax, and enjoy your stay. Let me just make sure the music's all right. Yes, how is everybody? I hope you're all doing well. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy your stay. So, today is my first day back streaming. Yes. I am completely underprepared for this, or maybe not completely underprepared. I'm a little bit drained of energy because of the flights. And oh god, let me tell you about the flights, okay? We're gonna start with the rants, okay? We're gonna start with the rants, and then we're gonna work our way up to the good memories with Atelier Tea Party, okay? So first and foremost, we're gonna talk about the, what I was informed after the third delay in my flight to be, quote-unquote, 2018's least punctual airline, Cebu Pacific. Oh boy, Cebu Pacific, where do we begin? Okay, so, when I was originally planning this trip, you know, I asked around, you know, which airline should I avoid, you know? I know there's like budget airlines and all that, and they're never gonna be that good. And the only name that really popped up was PAL because of how they treated their customers during the pandemic, you know? Not offering the refunds, blah blah blah, etc, etc. All those good stuff. Cebu Pacific was not one of the names that came up in airlines to avoid. There was Scoot. Scoot was it was one of those airlines that were brought in as one of the ones to avoid. I don't know why. I'll have to look that up later because now I'm curious. What could possibly be worse? Considering Cebu Pacific Airlines was not one of those names that came up when I was asking around for some of my people who were who've been going to the Philippines back and forth. Let me tell you a tale, okay? The flight, as you all know, was on July 9. It was a Sunday, so, you know, a little busy, you know, typical weekend at an airport. The night beforehand, my cats woke me up because I slept at my mother's place instead of my apartment where there are no pets, because we're not allowed to have pets. But, yeah, so we ended up with that. The cats kept waking me up because they were always running around the entire time. And I had to wake up at, around 6 to be able to catch my flight. Because, you know, my mother's place is about an hour away from the airport. You know what they say. Get to the airport about an hour, about 3 hours earlier than your flight to avoid any, you know, inconveniences or missing your flight or whatnot. And, you know, we got there about 3 hours in, 3 hours beforehand, and, you know, everything was fine, aside from the sleep deprivation. So, you know, already off to a good start, sleep deprived for the last few days because, well, I made the mistake of trying to finish Final Fantasy 16 before the trip. Yeah, not likely to make that mistake again, but anyways. Moving on from that little tidbit, which I already knew was going to happen, you know, it's fine. We're fine. So, you know, I was a little bit of an energy drain, but you know what, it's fine. I was going to be on a flight for like, God knows how many hours, and, you know, I was just gonna be like, okay, that's fine, I'm just gonna sleep there, you know, it'll be fine. I get there, you know, I get to the boarding thing, and I wait at the gate. And for about 30 minutes after it said we were supposed to already have departed, they finally start letting people in. And the, okay, the stewardess who was announcing people to get in was a little bit confused, okay? At first she was saying, people with the seat number of 38 and higher, sit down, because we can't load everybody at once. And then somewhere in the middle, it turned from that to only seating people with a seat number of 38 and higher. After I sat down because my seat number was 40, okay? My seat number was 40, so I sat down. It's like, okay, everybody, just sit down, you know. And they were wondering, why is nobody coming into the, thingo, you know? Until they started saying, everybody with 38 and higher, sit down, you know, come with us. And it was just like, okay, I may have misheard that. Nope, I wasn't the only one who misheard that. There were a lot of people who were sitting down because their number was 38 or higher. And already off to a good start, I know. 30 minutes late and they're still confusing their lines. I got to my seat, you know, and I don't mean to make this into like a body shaming thing, but like, the one who was sitting next to me was taking up about a third of my seat. And I was in the middle. But at the time, I was like, oh, that's fine. It doesn't look like anybody's taking the window seat. I'm sure it'll be fine, you know? And then the person who was taking the window seat came in during the, what's it called? The last boarding call, and I was like, damn it! I don't get to have that space to myself. So there I was, a third of my seat taken by somebody with a really big figure, and the other side taken by a fully grown person who was already taking up the whole of their seat. And, you know, that's fine, but, like, I was sandwiched in between them. And, I'm just like, personal space, I wouldn't mind this so much if I knew you, but personal space, damn it. Like, I get very skittish when I'm being touched by strangers. Like, unless you're close to me, if you're touching me, I swear to God. I'm just like... But, you know, I soldiered on through. And it's fine, you know, I've decided, okay, well, if my problem is that I don't know this person, I'd talk to them a little bit, you know, and they were nice. They were a nice old lady. They were a nice old Asian lady, and, you know, we talked a bit, bonded about how, about the flight stuff, and then, like, I noticed something. It's 1 o'clock, and they're only just now doing the announcements. About an hour after we're already delayed, saying, hey, we just have a minor delay, we'll be just another 30 minutes, and, you know, we're just waiting for some documents, it should only take about 30 minutes. Sorry for the inconvenience, we'll be on our way very shortly. And, you know, true to their word, 30 minutes goes, and yeah, we're finally starting to move, and everybody was like, yay! You know, the breath of relief around everyone. Like, around the entire plane. There was the sigh of relief. And I was just like, oh, is this a common occurrence? Like, is it usually even later than this? I didn't think anything of it at the time. But, like, you know, we move out of the gate, we position ourselves to start heading towards the big road that the planes usually take, the runway, you know, so they can jet away and fly away and stuff like that. And, you know, we stay there for a bit. Also, hello, Razorgon. Hello, Fami. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for joining. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy your stay. Pick your feet up and grab some popcorn. Lest we not forget, enjoy the show. But yes, we sit there for about, like, you know, another 15 minutes. And then, you know, it's just like, they must be waiting for the runway to clear, you know, because there's a lot of planes coming in and out of the place, you know. I thought maybe, okay, they're just waiting. And then another 15 minutes come by. It's like, it's 2 o'clock now. And, I'm just thinking, I'm not gonna make my transit flight, am I? By the time we arrive there, our transit flight will have already left. And then all of a sudden, the intercom speaks up, and I'm just like, oh, thank God, they must be about to say, oh, it's fine, they're about to leave, probably. But nope! Intercom comes on. Hey, this is your captain speaking. Just a heads up, we're gonna have to go back to the gate, and, yeah, sorry for an inconvenience. This is for our safety. Due to technical reasons, we have to go back to the gate. This is for your own safety, so please bear with us. Sorry for any inconvenience. And then we go back to the gate. They're like, we'll let you know more as we learn about the details. And everybody in the airplane collectively just went, ah! And you could hear some of them mumbling, you know, some of them mumbling swears and all that, and it's just like, mother... Okay, yeah, no. Even if they speed up everything, even if somehow all the winds are pointing our way and speeds us up, we're not gonna make the transit flight. I'll get to that. But yes, we did not make a transit flight, but I'll get to that. Another 30 minutes pass. And, like, by this point, everybody's getting antsy. Everybody's murmuring and, you know, getting angry and all that. And, hello, Ahmad. Welcome to the stream. And they start announcing, hey, so, our wheels kinda look a little sus right now, so we're gonna have to get that replaced for a bit. Bear with us for a bit. We'll be running another 45 minutes late, and I'm just like, son of a bitch! What about my flight? What about my transit flight? What about everybody else's transit flight? I can't be the only one! And, you know, sure enough, there were more people. I will get back to that as we get to it. But, yeah, at this point, I take my phone out and start messaging my friends and just like, what's it called? Now, you guys know my Rig Mama, Reina Ilene, you know, the wonderful, glorious Reina Ilene. I message her because she travels a lot. I'm just like, hey, so, what happens if my flight is like 2.5 hours late and I'll definitely miss my transit flight by the time I get there? It's just like, okay, don't panic. You know, thankfully, Reina was just like, yeah, don't worry. Usually when you miss your flight because of a delay that your airline is in, they'll get you on the next available flight, you know. Provided there is a next available flight on that day. I was like, oh god, when's the next flight? And I saw the, what's it called? I start looking at the, I start looking at the airport schedule. I also messaged Karo about this as well, and she basically said the same thing. I start looking at the airplane schedules. I'm just like, there's only one other flight after my transiting flight leaves for the day, listed on the website. And I'm not sure I'm gonna make that either, because I will have a 30-minute leeway from getting out of the, I will get a 30-minute leeway from getting out of the plane and getting my luggage and then going to the transit flight, which is in a different gate entirely, and dropping off my luggage there. And I was just like, can I make this in 30 minutes? Which, spoiler warning by the way, does not matter. Because it gets even later, okay? 45 minutes pass, and then they're like, okay, we're just making a few minor adjustments, we'll just be a little bit later. There was once a flight that was delayed for 22 hours, all passengers left, but one stayed, took a picture of it with the crew, to have the whole plane to himself. Oh my god. You know what, that's genius. You know what, if I can have the plane to myself, I would be perfectly fine with that. You know? All the meals are pre-packed in the plane, so they'd have to get rid of that anyways, and I'm just like, okay, just give me all their meals, you know? I'm fine, I'll take that as my thing, huh? And speaking of the compensation, I will get to that. Their compensation was lackluster, okay? There is just... okay. So, we finally, after God knows how long at this point, because I stopped counting, I was just ranting to all my friends on my phone, I stopped counting, and we finally, after I think about 3 hours, finally start going down the runway. And we stop for a bit, and I'm just like, oh dear god, you better not tell me we have to go back again. Thankfully, no. But at that point, everybody was so skittish that they were just like, oh, you better not stop. And then the intercom comes in, and we were all ready for the worst at this point, because the moment the intercom buzzes to life, everybody was like, oh no, what is it now? And like, yeah, this is your captain speaking. We're finally clear to go for takeoff, please pay attention to the airline stewardesses. They'll show you how to do the emergency thingos, like the seat belts and what to do when the air pressure drops, blah blah blah, yada yada. Typical airplane stuff. If you've ridden a plane before, they never change those instructions. Only this time, because I hadn't ridden a plane post-COVID, there was a funny section there where, they stopped the pre-recorded message telling us the instructions to have one of the airline stewardesses announce, please take your mask off and then put your oxygen mask on. They had to get an airline stewardess to specifically mention to take your mask off and then put the plastic cup with the oxygen into your mouth. For those of you who might be a little bit more keen, you might have already seen the problem with this. Airlines don't change their procedures unless they have to. And, normally you'd think it's common sense. You can't put a mask over a mask and expect it to have the same effect. The inclusion of this implies that there have been enough incidences in which people did not put their mask off to put their oxygen mask on. And I'm just sitting here thinking, what spurred this on? What exactly spurred this on for this to happen? How many incidences has there been that they have to specifically go over the recording, and announce that, hey, by the way, you can't get the effect unless you take your COVID mask off. You need to take your COVID mask off and breathe into the oxygen mask. Anyways, that was just something I found funny. But, we lift off, and imagine since you get to have the whole plane to yourself, including first class. Oh my god, yeah! Since there'd be so many seats in first class free, they might as well just give you the first class seat, It's adequate compensation, I'd say. Since first class is like, what, double, triple the amount that economy flies you get? But yeah, unfortunately, this entire plane was, full of people. I did realize that, like 2 or 3 people in my specific aisle left after the initial delay. But, yeah, I don't know where they went. I just noticed mid-flight that they did leave. But as compensation, you want to know what their compensation for us was? We're giving you food for free. And not the good kind either, the instant noodles kind, because not a lot of people ordered food, and we didn't think that many people were gonna order proper food. We're just gonna give you all free instant ramen and like free pastries. And I'm just like, yeah, no. You think this is enough? I'm missing my transit flight. Excuse you? Now, this is Cebu Pacific, very much a budget airline. They don't have first class or second class or business class or economy. They have one flat budget rate. The entire plane looks the same throughout. They don't even have screens behind their seats or out in the front. They have no entertainment whatsoever. By the time that they get to me, and I'm like further to the back than I am at the front, so they didn't even have food for the poor people at the front, okay? By the time they got to me, they had like 2 instant cup noodles left and 3 different pieces of bread left. And no more of the normal drinks. They only had bottled water left. So they didn't even have enough, they didn't even have enough compensation to go around. So half of the passengers didn't even get their food. I was just like, you know what? Just give me the bottled water. I'm too angry to eat anyways. At the very least, some other people can be placated with that pastry that you have. That singular of that one type pastry you have left. Yeah, it was it was bad. Even compensation wasn't worth it. But at the very least, we were on flight, and I was just hoping to God they don't try to weasel their way out of, you know, giving me the next flight, because I've never been in this situation before. All my flights, even if they've been delayed, I've never had a transiting flight, so it never really mattered to me. I had a transiting flight on this one, on the other hand, so it was a little bit more of a kerfuffle. It was a bit more of a kerfuffle. The entire time I was stressed, and I was anxious. And, you know, I ended up talking to a little bit on top of trying to sleep, which was really hard, by the way, when I'm being sandwiched by two people I don't know. And, you know, I brought my Switch along with me so that I could, you know, maybe do some, you know, do a bit of grinding on some of my games, but no, it was too uncomfortable because, well, my arms were stuck between two people, some of which were taking a big portion of my seat. I'm just like, okay, I can't hold this Switch for very long in this situation because I really, actually, physically cannot without, you know, pushing into the other person. I didn't want to be rude, you know? I didn't want to be rude and push into them like, hey, move a little bit. I know that, like, you're in my seat, you know? It's just like, I don't know if they have any, like, conditions that, make it so they, you know... More than one incidents and need to have meeting about if it's necessary to change protocol, not just the incident count, but how severity the incident is, like risk assessment and how to save people. Fair enough, fair enough. But yeah, it was too uncomfortable for me to play. Eventually, I just shut that off, listened to my music because I downloaded some stuff offline into my phone just before the flight. It was like, okay, I'll just try to sleep with this. But then, like, the guy next to me had probably some of the tiniest bladder ever because, every, like, 2 or 3 hours, they would get up and go to the bathroom, and both me and the old lady would have to move out of the way because he was the one with the window seat. And I was like, okay, at least I get to stretch my legs, that's fine. But at the same time, eventually I was just like, okay, maybe I should just stretch my legs. Like, literally just stand here until turbulence comes and I'm forced to take my seatbelt back on. And, you know, it was fine for the most part, I guess. Like, you know, what can you do? It's a budget airline. There's nothing to do. And, you know, it was a little bit tiring, taxing, definitely traumatic, to say the least. I, should have spent, okay, here's the thing. Full disclosure, the reason I booked Cebu Pacific Air was because it was the cheapest, or at least at the time, it looked like the cheapest. You know, I looked at Qantas and all those other, more known brands, and, like, their price was around 1,157 Australian dollars, okay? Whereas when I initially put in the destinations to Cebu Pacific on their website, it said it would only be like 500 something. Boy, was I wrong on that one, by the way. Because once you put all the, you know, once you put all your details in, all the flight details, select your flight, choose to get no add-ons because you're cheap and just trying to get to the Philippines so that you can see your friends. All of a sudden they hit you with the final receipt. They're like, okay, just to make sure, this is your actual flight, and this is how much it's actually gonna cost. And all of a sudden they have all these added costs to the bill, you know? Australian citizen moving freight thingy for an extra 60, or what's it called? A non-smoking passenger, or some bull crap like that, you know? They added a lot of stuff like refueling, or re-oiling, blah 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 blah, administration, and it all ended up coming to a head to about 1,058 anyways. So for quite literally an extra $99, I could have avoided all that hassle, gone with Qantas, had entertainment, and actually good food, and not have to deal with all this BS. It was just... I was just so blown away by it, like... I thought, okay, at the time I was like, okay, that's still $100 I can spend on the trip, you know? That's still a significant amount. I feel like in therapy bills is gonna be more. Not that I have time to see a therapist anyways, thanks to my job and having to work 6 days a week. But anyways, getting back to the topic at hand, you know. The flight was relatively normal, apart from not having that great a time. The guy that was sitting in the window seat, he was actually pretty cool, you know? Once I actually started talking to him, we ended up talking about philosophy and stuff, and getting, like, what's it called? These breakdowns of movies, and how, like, some people on YouTube just think of the most out there things when it comes to these movies. But when you rewatch it again, you start to notice the details they talk about. And it's just like, whoa. I never would have thought of that on my own, because I usually shut my brain off when I watch movies. So that I can enjoy them, you know, like a normal person, instead of somebody who watches movies like it's their English teaching job. But, yeah, it was alright. Once I actually started talking to that guy about YouTube stuff and all that, and, you know, business stuff, it was fun. Time actually kind of flew. By the time we get there, though, my flight had already left. Because, God forbid, they make both flights late. And about 30 other passengers aside from me were up in arms, talking to the, what's it called? The help desk and all that. Hey, I missed my flight because my flight was literally 3 hours late. You know, that time that we were supposed to get here to have adequate time. Yeah. But yeah, they were like, yeah, don't worry, we've been notified. Here you go, your next flight's on this time here. And I look at the time, it's just like, boarding time 10:55. There wasn't a flight at 10:55. The last flight was on 9:05. And that one looks like it's already boarding passengers. They're like, yeah, we're, we have a plane for you guys. Oh boy, and this plane, okay. Let me see if I can find it, because I posted it on my friend Discord. Let me just see if I can grab it real quick. I didn't think to grab it before, but I'm definitely grabbing it now. Oh boy. This plane that they got us in, it looked like a spare plane that was repurposed from World War II. The seats were made of metal, with like just this thin-ass bedsheet looking seat cover. No foam, completely metal underneath. And I'm just like, what the heck is this? Am I gonna die? It was dark too, that didn't have the lights on either, so it sounded even worse when I got there and we were all sitting there. It's just like, hang on, let me see the photo. I cannot describe for the life of me. Like, the photo makes it look brighter. It was not as bright when I took the, when I actually sat there, okay? Let me see if I can find it real quick. Where is it? Where is the 10th? Okay. Here we go. I found the image. I'm going to save the image. I'm gonna see if I can, dump that into this. Give me one moment. Okay. This is how the image looks like. The things that look like foam there, they are actually a part of the metal seat that is just covered by, that part there is just part of the seat cover that they put over the metal seats. This entire thing looks like it was repurposed from World War II. And you know? It was just a small plane as well, you know? It wasn't very drastic. But like, the entire time I was just thinking, is this plane safe? And you wanna know what else I felt really unsafe in that plane? I was looking out the window. Okay, I was looking up the window, it was very cloudy, and then I noticed there was flashing, and I was like, oh, was that from a plane or was that thunder? And then it flashed again, and I saw the pattern of lightning. And I was just like, are we clear for takeoff? I'm gonna get back to this real quick, okay? I'm gonna get back to that. We take off, and I see lightning striking. You know, they give us like the regular spiel. Oh, this is how you put your seatbelt on. This is how you put your life vest on. Blah 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 blah. We take off, and they're like, ladies and gentlemen, please strap in. We're gonna be going through we're gonna be trying our best to speed this flight through to Manila, or no, not Manila, to Cebu. And in the middle of the flight, okay, we get past the clouds. I'm just like, oh, thank God, okay, nothing bad happened. On our way towards the landing, on the other hand, on our way down, about 15 minutes towards the airport that we were supposed to land in, they were like, ladies and gentlemen, please keep your seatbelts on. We're gonna be passing through some clouds with thunderstorm activity. There's gonna be a lot of turbulence. Please don't look outside, as the lightning might cause temporary blindness if you look at it directly. I'm just like sitting here with all of my knowledge thinking, aren't we supposed to avoid that? Like, isn't it dangerous to ride into the clouds? Is that bad? I'm just thinking, are we gonna die? Spare plane with metal seating? You'll be flying into a war zone, bro. Maybe try blasting some song about plane crash to scare all the crew. They might as well have done that with what they did, okay? We were in metal seats with a clearly fully metal plane. The flooring felt shaky at best. Anytime someone even so much as put their foot down from their seat, you could feel the vibration all the way from the back. I'm just like, please, dear God. I know I'm half demon, but like, please, the human half has to have some sort of salvation to this, right? Thankfully, we were fine. There was just a lot of turbulence, and we eventually landed safely. But the entire time, I was thinking, is this against regulation? Are we gonna die? Is this punishment for me ranting about it while we were late? Did they find my tweet somehow and link it back to me and think, oh, we're just going to make sure to silence this one person. Other 30 passengers be damned. Yeah, that was a whole trip and a half, not gonna lie. Plane safe or not depend on maintenance and pilot, yeah. But the entire time was just so scary to me, man. I have never been in that situation before, and I am never ever flying Cebu Pacific again. When we landed, they were like, thank you for flying with Cebu Pacific. Sorry for the inconvenience. We hope you fly with us again. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm going to fly with you guys again. Not because I want to, but because I booked all the flights that are included in this trip in Cebu Pacific because I wanted to be cheap. Because I was like, okay, it doesn't matter if it's very uncomfortable. As long as it gets me there, I'm fine. It almost didn't get me there. And I will never make that mistake again, Jesus Christ. Right in the middle of all this, Reina sends me a screenshot of the Wikipedia article. Let me see if I can find that Wikipedia article, okay? Let's see here. Where is my guy? Reina, there we go. Here we go. Save that image and dump it right into stream right now. Here is the Wikipedia article. I'll make it bigger so you can read along. Cebu Pacific has been criticized for its poor passenger service, alleged overbooking, flight delays, and cancellations. For instance, the airline was also criticized for lack of coordination in the aftermath of the runway excursion incident at Francisco Bangoy International Airport in 2013, and the numerous flight cancellations and delays during the December 2014 Christmas peak season. In January 2018, Cebu Pacific was named as the world's least punctual airline, with an on-time performance of 57.6% in 2017 based on data from OAG, which included in the list from the Philippines. Also included in the list from the Philippines is another low-cost airline, Philippine Air Asia, with an on-time performance of 58.0%. The airline was again criticized in 2013 because of its unsatisfactory service to passengers, prompting the Senate of the Philippines to begin an investigation on June 21st, 2023. 3 months after I booked those flights, and 1 month before I had that flight. No, not even a month, like literally 2 weeks before that flight. But, yeah. Anyways, I'll get rid of that now. Wait, no, I don't want to... No, wrong source. Hang on, I almost deleted myself. Give me a sec. There we go. Takeoff risk depend on runway and weather. For weather, it mostly depends on wind, and for runway, it's wetness condition. Okay, fair enough. It was kind of wet, but it wasn't raining at the time, so I guess it's fine. But, yeah, it was... Let me tell you, the amount of energy going through that took me. I'm surprised I was able to function for the rest of the trip, I'm not gonna lie. Like, the amount of energy that took from me was absolutely absurd, okay? I was already stressed and anxious to meet the rest of the Atelier Tea Party because I was like, oh no, what if I do something wrong? What if they don't like me? What if I somehow ruin this trip for everybody? And that was before I was stressed out by all this. And, you know, we get there at about 3 a.m. Okay, we get to Cebu about 3 a.m.-ish, and I'm just sitting there thinking, oh god, I know I told them that I'm gonna be late, but I didn't tell them how late. Is this gonna be okay? Are they still gonna let me check into my room? You know, because I was gonna be at an inn, okay? I'm not sure how well inns work with late check-ins. That's just like, oh god. They said it was okay, but, like, I didn't tell them specifically how late I was gonna be. I didn't realize we'd get here at 3 a.m., that I'd get there at 4 a.m. at this point. And, you know, all my friends were like, if you go to the Philippines, don't take a cab. You know, cab drivers are the worst in the Philippines. They'll trick you and tell you to that they just need to do this and that and leave the meter running, and like they'll scam you, and like if you don't have change, they'll just be like, okay, just give me the whole thing, you know. So naturally, I downloaded an app called Grab, and what Grab is basically Uber, but unfortunately, Uber had some very unfortunate things happen to them in the Philippines, and they were bought out. Okay, they were bought out so that the company that bought them out, which is now Grab, could assimilate the drivers from the Filipino drivers into their app and continue operating as a Filipino company as opposed to just Uber, you know? And, you know, that's pretty good. I was able to, you know, download it beforehand, so it was pretty easy, you know? I got data roaming, I was able to contact my friends and all that. Unfortunately, because it's 3 a.m. and nobody is awake at this time, unless you're near a red light district, there were no Grabs. I tried 3 times to book a Grab, and each time the app said, sorry, there are no drivers nearby. So eventually I just gave up and decided to go to, you know, I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna buy something from the convenience store just so I have a bit of change. And I'm just going to, you know, I'm just gonna get a taxi driver. And, you know, if I have to pay a little bit more, that's fine. I just want to go home and sleep at this point, man. You know, I'm sticky, I'm sweaty, it's been a long day, it was raining. I just want to go home to my hotel room, dry off, take a bath, and plop myself to sleep. Hello, Wes. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for joining, and please sit back, relax, and enjoy. But yeah, that was my first experience with Cebu Pacific. There's more to that on the way back, by the way. I'm gonna get through the entire Cebu Pacific thing before I start with the happy things, like Atelier Tea Party meeting and all that. Because I want to end on a happy note. Instead of a, oh dear god, I'm never booking this thing again note. But yeah, it was terrible. I feel like, in terms of emotional turmoil, I actually wasted more money. But yeah, I finally decided to just get a taxi, go to the inn and blah 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 blah. Now, surprisingly enough, when me and Megu were flying over to Manila to meet the rest of Atelier Tea Party. Yes, I've drank water, Wes. Okay. We also took Cebu Pacific, and they were late in boarding us, and they were like, the boarding is gonna be at this gate. And then come the time to board us, they were like, oh, sorry, we need you all to transfer to this gate for reasons that I can't remember. They made us line up at one gate, and then all of a sudden line up at another gate. And they, for whatever reason, when they booked the flight for us, even though we were 2 people, you know, it was booked at the same time for both of us, they put us in completely opposite seats. So I asked the stewardess, hey, why are we in opposite seats? We're supposed to be seated together. And you know, thankfully they were like, oh, I'm so sorry, there's some spare seats at the back if you want. I was like, okay, sure, I'll take that, because, you know, not gonna complain. At least they had a solution this time. And then just try to offer us some paltry compensation, of which I didn't get to make use of. Yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. It was bad. I was really, really fuming at that point. But yeah, thankfully this time around, I don't know if it was just the winds that were in our favor, but like, there was a lot to the place that we got to the Manila airport, surprisingly, about 10 minutes earlier than what they told us, which didn't really matter because of how long it took for them to open the door. It's about 20 minutes for them to open the door, eventually. And, yeah, like, there was that. We ended up having, you know, walking towards our hotel because we decided we'd book a hotel for the day we landed because we'd land there at, like, the AMs, okay? We were supposed to get there at, like, 1:30-ish. We got there about 1:45 and got out of the airport around 2-ish. And thankfully, there were a lot of signs that were guiding us to the hotel that we ended up in, because like there was basically a runway headed towards where all the hotels were, our hotel included. And you know, that was fine. We booked in, you know, and they were like, hey, by the way, at this time, we're gonna have a breakfast buffet. Be sure to get here on time if you want to make use of that. I was like, I paid for that? They're like, yeah, you paid for it. I was like, oh, I didn't even know that. I just booked a hotel that was close to the frickin' airport, and just like, you know. So, you know, that was fun. That was happy. Can I get the devious lick you got in the hotel, bro? Unfortunately, we didn't take any photos. We were kind of both really tired. At that point, we were actually kind of just forcing ourselves to wake up at that time so that we can eat the free food. Yeah, you know, that was fine. Before I get to any more details, I'll circle back to everything that we did. Once I finish the last part of my rant for Cebu Pacific, okay? On my way back, all of a sudden we had a refueling. Okay, first and foremost, for some reason, Cebu Pacific was the only airline in the luggage check-in that had a physical bag check. I've never had a physical bag check before. Usually they don't have that here in Australia or in Singapore, which are the only two countries I've ever been to aside from the Philippines. And, yeah. I was just like, okay, well, this is awkward because I just locked my luggage and I'm pretty sure I lost my keys somewhere throughout the week. So, you know, they broke about 10 spare keys that they had from other locks, trying to figure out if any of them would fit onto my padlock, which was, you know, it was a basic padlock. It was never supposed to be, like, you know, anything complicated. I'm sure you could lockpick it fairly easily, but, like, hello, Shikure. It took them 12 tries before they decided to give up and use some sort of method I've never used before. Apparently, you can lift something up in a luggage bag and unzip the zipper without moving the zip, and then re-zip it with the zipper without unzipping it. And I'm just like, why didn't you do that from the first time? That took half an hour! But yeah. They opened it a little bit, swabbed the inside of it. I'm sure they're just checking for drugs or something, which I don't have, which is fine. It was just like, you know, and they just put some stickers all over it, and then they put it in, and then they gave it back to me to line back up to the rest of the luggage the luggage drop-off. You know, that was fine from then on. And then the flight. Again, we were delayed because they had to, quote-unquote, refuel for our safety. They were like, for our safety, we're just doing, what's it called? We're just refueling, just in case. Yeah. It was not that great. Anyways, it took about an hour for them to get us flying again, which isn't as bad, you know. Let's see here. Grab is a Singapore company, mostly trustworthy, but if it's from Singapore, high chance it's a greedy company. Fair enough. I don't doubt that. But at the very least, what's it called? Wait, did Grab replace Uber in Singapore? Because I remember I took an Uber when I was in Singapore. Was that something else? I'm actually not sure what I used in Singapore now that I think about it. I mostly just used the rental bikes when I was in Singapore. So, like, yeah. You just see a crazy madman, like, taking a bike all over the place with, like, a 20-kilo luggage on his lap and, like, a big, bulky bag as a carry-on on his back. That was me in Singapore. I'm surprised the bike could take the weight. And again, it wasn't like, you know, I wasn't particularly heavy. But yeah, what's it called? Yeah, that was my experience with Cebu Pacific. I ordered legroom because my mother was like, just get some legroom, it's fine. Unfortunately, the place I ordered legroom for, because, you know, all the legroom is at the front. Unfortunately, I just so happened to choose the one seat with the legroom in which everybody had to cross over to the other aisle because two of the lavatories on the left side of the aisle was broken. So people who wanted to go to the bathroom had to use my legroom to skip past. And the entire time, every 5 minutes, at least one person would try to get past me to get to the lavatories. So the legroom meant nothing! I paid an extra $65 for nothing! There was no point to that! I wasted my money! Because now, instead of enjoying my legroom, every time I stretched my leg out, somebody would be like, "Excuse me, sir, can I please get through?" And it's not even just the, what's it called? It's not even just the other passengers either. People in the flight crew were asking to get through. I had like maybe 1 hour in total of being able to make use of that legroom. It was, to this day, my worst travel experience ever. But now that we have all the Cebu Pacific stuff out of the way, now that we no longer have anything else to complain about, I'm pretty sure, unless I think of something else later on, let's move on to the happy part. So, I got to the Travel Bee Inn in like, to where Megu lives. Towards near where Megu lives. Well, not near, it's like, I still have to take like a long cab ride to get to her place, which was fine, you know, Grab. It's fine. It's the Philippines. Things are cheaper there. And, you know, we finally met up. You know, it was fun. It was nice. What's it called? Megu woke up a little bit late because apparently her stream ran long the previous day. And I was just sitting there in the Grab like, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." Because she was not ready. She was not ready by the time I got there. I was just like, "I'm so sorry. Here, take this extra 100 pesos, please." And, you know, he was nice about it. He didn't complain. Because, I mean, he got an extra 100. But, yeah, you know, Megu finally comes out, and we were, like, waving at each other, you know. We gave each other a tiny little hug, and it was just like, "Oh my god, it's finally nice to see you," and everything. And, like, yeah, you know, it was fun. It was nice. You know, we ended up going to KBBQ, and, yeah. We were lucky, actually. We ended up going to this KBBQ that she always wanted to go and pig out on, and there was a special going on for a buffet option where you had like a specific set that you could keep asking to get refills for, and it was on sale, and we were just like, "Oh, hell yeah, let's do this." And guys, I have finally converted Megu into a beef person. Yeah, beef person! Apparently this entire time, the only beef she'd ever eaten were those really chewy, overcooked beef. So she never actually liked beef. But because this is KBBQ, and the beef slices were kind of thin, you know, it was easy to cook a little bit and then give it to her. And she ate it, and she was like, "Oh my god, this is so good. I understand why you guys like beef so much now." And I was like, "Yeah! What did you think? Why do you think we liked beef so much?" And she was just like, "I don't know, I've only ever eaten the chewy ones. I always thought they were always just supposed to be chewy." And I was just like, "Oh, you poor thing." Like, honestly, like, I was just like, "Oh, you poor thing. We were gonna make you experience so many culinary, like, throughout this trip. Me and the rest of Atelier Tea Party will do our best to feed you properly, you sweet swan child." And it was great, you know, what's it called? Because it was a KBBQ, there were a lot of sides as well. They had like fried chicken, soy chicken, spicy chicken, and a lot of other stuff. Like they had lettuce, they had garlic, they had a couple of other things. I think they had fish cake, not sure. But yeah, it was great. Did you guys know you ate barbecue during our graduation? We even joked that you guys were celebrating for us. Yeah, Megu told me about that actually. Like, she sent a photo to you guys, and then she showed me a photo of Shikire over here with like a graduation certificate and everything. And I was just like, "Oh, you poor thing." Give me 1 second. I don't know if you can hear that in the background, but my phone is ringing. Give me 1 moment. Okay, sorry about that. Mom was just calling me for a bit. But yeah, getting back to the topic at hand. Yeah, we when she mentioned that, actually, I was like, oh, okay, let's fill our cups and like cheer for Brogu, like, and like, I was like, you know, if they wanted to, they could come to Cebu right now. Just, you know, take the 2-hour flight. I'll treat them, you know. But yeah, I was like, you know, if you guys wanted to come over, like, if you guys don't mind, like, a 2-hour flight, we'll pick you up from the airport and, like, treat you to dinner. I'm happy with that. I can do that. Yeah, that was a fun day. We also ended up going to the mall nearby because, well, unfortunately for me, I couldn't find any summer clothes for Australia because for the Philippines, because in Australia it is currently winter. I'll get back to that. I will get back to that. It is winter, just remember that. In the Philippines it's always hot and humid. But yeah, I decided, okay, well, I'll just bring some general clothes that I can use to hang out, and then I'll buy some clothes here. So Megu takes me to the mall, you know. I buy like shorts and a shirt, and it was fun. It was nice. It was alright. I bought ripped jeans because I was like, okay, we're going to Manila. I need people to think I'm poor so that I don't get robbed or mugged. So naturally, I was like, okay, let's buy ripped jeans or ripped shorts. And I was just like, you know, I think it worked because I didn't get mugged. I passed by some really sketchy looking places without getting mugged. I think it worked. But yeah, it was great. You know, we shopped a little bit. Megu took me to the mall that she said she got lost in, and I'm just like, oh my god. This mall, okay? Everything is just clothing stores. Rows and rows of clothing stores. Some of which have different branches of the same stores. And it was laid out so awkwardly that I was just thinking, this is gonna take a long time to get used to. And there are no directories anywhere. We had to speak to security guards to figure out where we were going, and all they could do is offer vague directions towards where certain shops were. Even they couldn't give us specific directions. They were like, it's somewhere around that direction. And I'm just like, how do people get around here? They don't have a map. This big shopping mall doesn't have a map. And I finally understand why Megu gets lost. I mean, eventually I started getting used to where things were, but like, Jesus Christ. That's just because I'm used to like, I'm used to figuring out where things are. And I'm just like, oh dear God. Oh my God. How do I even, where do we go? Okay, I think we were here. Nope, that just looked exactly like the other place that we were in. I no longer blame Megu for getting lost there. It was that bad. Like, completely that bad. Like, actually that bad. It was not good. It had a lot of stores. There was a section in which there was a lot of technology stuff. And like, you know, we had to look at some computer parts because I was like, maybe if they're cheap enough, I can buy something for Megu to upgrade her gears and stuff. Because God, poor Megu, her setup, she has a bare bones basic gas office monitor that doesn't even have a brand. And it doesn't even have a good color gamut, which is not good because part of the things she does is take commissions for art, and she needs to see the color. I did find some things that she might be able to afford eventually. But yeah, you know, unfortunately it wasn't enough it wasn't cheap enough for me to be able to just be like, oh, okay, I'll willy-nilly buy that, you know? I had to save up for the rest of the trip because I wasn't sure what was going to happen, you know? And yeah, yeah, it was kind of, it was kind of a little bit saddening that I couldn't, but, well, what can you do? All good, though. She ended up getting, you know, a little something for herself. I won't say what it is. She can say it on her Just Chatting stream if she wants to. But yeah, we ended up spending the day, like, you know, I got her to try, like, what's it called? I got her to try, like, I think it was Cocoa? It was a popular bubble tea brand. I think we also had it here in Australia. And she's like, oh, look, it's that popular bubble tea brand that she never got to try. What's it called? She never actually said that. I never got to try that part. That part's just on me. But, like, I was like, okay, let's try it. Like, what? No, I don't, you know, it's fine. She's like, no, we're gonna try it. My money, I get to spend it however the heck I want to. Don't you dare. You sweet summer child. You are going to be introduced to luxury whether you like it or not. I call it luxury, but it's just bubble tea. Come on. It's cheaper than here in Australia. Like, every time she's like, but it's expensive. I was just like, sweet summer child. The entire time it's just like, oh, you poor thing. Here, let Mama Lore take care of you. Mama Lore will do her best to help you out. It's okay, it's fine. And yeah, you know, she got, like, what's it called? She got a bit of allowance from her mother to buy herself some new shoes for the trip. It was nice. She ended up going to Best and Less. Best and Less shoes. Because, well, that's where she buys her stuff. Because, like, you know, budget still. But, like, I was like, okay, Megu, if you find a shoe here that is a bit above your budget, I know you don't want me to take the whole thing, so I'm just going to help you a little bit with it, okay? I will match your budget. She was like, no, I feel bad. I forced her to do it anyways. But yeah, it seemed like she liked those shoes. I mean, didn't have any other shoes to wear during the trip anyways, but yeah, you know, it looked like she liked the shoes at the very least. And it was fairly nice shoes, you know? Well, it was more like sandal type shoes, but like, you know, it's got a bit of design, so it's not plain and boring, like the ones she was thinking of buying at first. Yeah. That look was for Megu in case she was watching. And I'm just like, oh, you poor sweet summer child. I'm just gonna go ahead and make sure that you're happy because I think you need happiness in this life, man. Yeah. What's it called? So, you know, afterwards, we ended up hailing a cab because Grabs were just not picking up at all. And we were like, yeah, that's fine. But, here's the thing. I was smart this time. I was smart because I was told that foreigners tend to get tricked by cab drivers. So what I did was, the moment we got into the plane, the moment we got into the cab, I started speaking in Tagalog, okay? I was like, hello po sir, this place please, salamat po. And then I started talking to Megu in Tagalog as well. And she was so surprised. Like, she gave me this look like... okay. Like, I couldn't see her, like, full facial expression. But I could tell from her eyes, like, her eyes widened. I couldn't see her mouth because of her face mask. But, like, you know, her eyes widened while looking at me. She's just like... And it was so funny to me. It was great. What's it called? You know, like, it was the look where she was like, oh, okay, cool. I like, wow, okay. That came out of the blue. And yeah, you know, it was great. Because my idea was, if the if I can at least demonstrate that I know enough Tagalog, maybe he'll think I'm not a foreigner. Like, I'm Asian, I was born here. I'm partially Filipino. And I was born here and raised here until I was like 8 years old, I think? Don't remember, been a long time. So I was just like, okay, let's show this guy. I mean business. And yeah, it was great. It was fun. He didn't take any incredible detours. He even tried to get us to the place quicker. He was like, hey, would you like to... hey, there's this other, what's it called? He was like, hey, we're just gonna turn around a little bit, because if you look that way, it's completely crowded. We're gonna take a slight detour, because this one is what's it called? It's shorter. And I did look at the traffic map. There was definitely an accident there that was blocking the way. And yeah, it took us back to the route that we originally actually came to there in. And, we got back to Megu's place, and she dropped off her shopping and got her carry-on luggage so that she had some clothes on the trip. Stuff like that. I just waited at the ground floor because they wouldn't let me in. And yeah, it was fun. We did end up finally getting a grab afterwards, though, so that was good. And okay. Megu has the tiniest bladder ever, okay? She went to the bathroom, like, once during our shopping trip. And then she went to the bathroom again, and, like, before we headed back, I'm pretty sure. And then on our way to my inn, so that I can get my luggage, so we can prepare to go to the airport. She's like, oh god, she's like to the grab, oh god, can we stop at the service station? I just need to use the bathroom. And I'm just like, again? And we were, she was quick about it, thankfully. She has a tiny bladder, so she was very quick. What do I expect from a swan? You know what, that's true. She was very quick. I just tipped the guy an extra bit for waiting. Because I felt bad. I was like, here you go, sir. Sorry for the wait. And we came up, and I showed her my room. She's like, apart from the strong, freshly painted smell, this is actually not too bad. It's kind of cozy. Travel B Inn was fine. You get free breakfast at a specific time. I unfortunately couldn't make use of that because I was so dead tired I couldn't actually wake up for breakfast. And yeah, what's it called? We had some time to kill, because there was still quite a bit of time before the airport. But I had to check out at 6. I couldn't actually stay in the room past 6 o'clock. But they did have free shuttle buses to towards the airport, and they were like, okay, we can put you on the free shuttle bus at 7. We had about an hour to spare. And we were just like, hey, let's go to that place across the road that has a massage place. Because I actually did do a bit of scouting around the area when I did wake up, just to see if there was anything interesting here. And there were a couple of things, There was a massage area, there was a shopping place, there was a place where I could exchange my money, which I thankfully did over there. Because exchanging money at the airport, not the best idea. Just saying. If you're gonna exchange money, do it outside the airport. Better that way. Anyways, we got a massage for like half an hour. We're like, okay, that's cool. And one of the things she said she wanted to try was Starbucks. And I was like, hey, Megu, look, it's Starbucks. You want to try? She's like, well, you guys said it was kind of... you guys reacted oddly when I suggested I wanted to try Starbucks. I was like, no, it's fine. It's just like... Okay, here's the thing about Starbucks. It's just such a basic... It was such a basic, basic B-word place to want to go to, because it's like the thing that everyone goes to. I was just like, it's fine, Megu. It's fine. We can try Starbucks. She's like, nah, it's okay. I wouldn't even know what to get because, like, I see these TikToks and these YouTube shorts about Starbucks being like having all these insane ways of ordering drinks. And she's like, how do you know what to order? I'm just like, oh, you poor sweet summer child. Hello, Cloudy. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for joining. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy. But yeah, sorry, I couldn't resist. Karo gave us some gummies from the Pokemon Center in Japan. This is amazing, by the way. I'll get back to that. But yeah, we got a massage. It was really nice. Kinda wish we had the full hour, but eh. Anyways, the Travel Bee Airport Inn was kind enough to hold our luggage for us, so we weren't lugging it around while we were going around the shops. And after our massage, we actually saw that, we actually started hearing a kitten just meowing all, like, really loudly. And we were like, where's that coming from? And then we saw it on the roof of one of the shops. It was just like, oh no, the poor thing, can it get out? And like, you know, we asked some of the locals around here and they were like, oh no, that's fine. That kitten's just melodramatic. It can get out, don't worry. It's gone out before. Last time it was on that roof. We're like, oh, okay, I guess we don't need to get it out then. That's fine. Yeah. It was fine. Anyways, 7 o'clock rolls around. We were like, okay, let's go to the airport. And yeah, the free airport shuttle was nice, you know? And when we got off, there were a couple of people waiting there like, hey, would you like for us to push your luggage around? We're like, no thanks, it's fine. And, you know, we still had a lot of time to kill because it was a domestic flight and our flight isn't until midnight. We got there at around like 7:30ish, so we were like, okay, you know what? Let's go ahead and eat something, you know? And we look around the shops and we're like, oh hey, Jollibee. I haven't had Jollibee in forever. And, you know, I even made a tweet about it. I don't know if it's just the airport Jollibee, but kind of, like, I like the skin. The skin is nice. And the gravy with the skin is good, but the meat itself was kind of, I don't know, basic. It wasn't that great, to be honest. I don't know if it's just the airport Jollibee or not, because it was the only Jollibee we tried. And, yeah, it wasn't that, like, I feel like I would have enjoyed just the skin and the gravy better. Like, if you get what I mean. Like, I'm probably gonna get flayed for that opinion. Or maybe it's just the airport Jollibee that was bad. We should have tried more Jollibees just to make sure, but we didn't, unfortunately. But, yeah, it wasn't that great. Serving sizes were kind of small, but it was edible. It was something I'd eat if it was put in front of me. Skin and gravy choice, great, yeah. Like, I do like the skin. Just the meat that accompanies it wasn't that great. If I'm being completely honest. Like, maybe it's just, like, I've been spoiled by, like... Because, like, Mom always gets me to try these fine dining options whenever she had the chance to when I was a kid. So my palate kind of grew from that. And, to this day, I can no longer stand the really crappy steak cuts. Back then, I was like, steak, I'll eat it however bad it is. Now I'm just like, steak, it better be at least this good, or else I won't eat it. But yeah, I think my tastes just got spoiled over the years because I started taking more of an interest in higher food stuff, you know, luxury foods, and like, you know, being fancy with my food. And I'll get back to that as well, by the way. Because there is a moment in time, the morning after the cooking stream that Atelier Tea Party did, I used the leftover steak to cook some fried rice for Atelier Tea Party, and they were all like, oh, it tastes great. But when I tasted it, I was like, oh, it's nowhere near as flavorful as I thought it was gonna be. I guess it really doesn't taste that good, because I had to make do. Kara didn't have a surplus of soy sauce, so I used Dati Puti patis instead. I don't know if you guys know what patis is. I don't know how to describe patis either, or if it has an English counterpart. But yeah, I used that instead of soy sauce, and they were like, "Oh, it's so flavorful and nice. It's actually really good, especially since these are leftovers." And here I was sitting like, "Are you sure you guys aren't just making me feel good? Because I already openly admitted it was bad, or like it wasn't that great." No, it wasn't fishy. I think I dispelled most of the fishiness of it because I was what's it called? Oh god, this is getting a little too loud. Give me a sec. Because it was what I did was I made a volcano structure with the rice, you know? The entire middle was flat and on the heat, so I poured the patis, just a tiny bit of the patis, in the middle, and had it fry for a bit before I mixed it in with the rest of the fried rice, which was basically just, like, leftover ingredients plus the rice from Pancake House. Because Kara bought some stuff for her dogs in Pancake House. But yeah, it was good, you know. I just used some of the vegetables that came with it, you know, the vegetable sides, carrots and corn, you know, blah blah blah, stuff like that. It was kind of meh for me. Like, it was the type of food that you just eat for sustenance as opposed to for taste. There we go. Found the words eventually. But like, it just didn't taste that well for me. Anyways, we'll get back to that. We'll take things in order. You know, it wasn't too bad. The fries in Jollibee was actually really nice. Yeah, it felt more like a ration than a delicacy. Like, a decent tasting ration for what it is, but a ration nonetheless as opposed to something nice, which is what I was trying to get at. Apparently everybody else liked it though, and I'm just like, are you sure? You sure about that? They were like, yeah, we're sure. Are you sure you're okay? I was like, I think I'm okay. Like, here, full disclosure, I do not trust Akari's taste buds because, well, during our Samyang spicy noodle challenge, she ate 3 times spicy, whereas Megu and I were struggling at 2, and she was just like, wow, this isn't really even that spicy. And I was just like, what the frick even? But yeah, anyways, we had Jollibee, it was fine, and we went to the flight, you know? The Boo Pacific, what can you do, blah blah blah. We get to Belmont Hotel, as we did. I ordered what's it called? I ordered those, what was it called? Is it twin beds? What's it called when there are 2 beds side by, like, not side by side, but like in opposite corners of the room? Excuse me. Whatever that was. And you know, that was great. That was the only photo they showed of the room. There was a little problem. And this made things a little bit awkward because I didn't realize this was a thing. They have a window looking into the shower in the room. Thankfully, there was a curtain there was like a completely solid scroll down curtain that you can scroll all the way down so that you don't see anything. And I was like, but at first we were like, oh my god, what? No, I am so sorry. This is not like, I can leave the entire hotel room if you need to take a bath. But then we actually went in and saw that there was a scroll down curtain thing that we could actually roll down. It was fine. It was okay. I was just like, oh my god. I hope they don't think I did this intentionally. That was not intentional. The only thing they showed of that room was the beds. And so I was like, okay, that's fine. You know, that's okay. I was not expecting that. That was not a thing in which I expected to be in a room. Okay? Especially in a room with 2 separate beds. I'd have been more expecting it if it were a double bed. Or a queen-size bed. But it was 2 separate beds. Clearly, we were not in that type of intimacy zone. Okay? We were just friends. Who were really tired and wanted to go to bed. And I was just like, oh, thank God there's curtains. Oh, thank God there's a way to block things. And, you know, I blocked everything. You know, it was fine. Anyways, yeah, we ended up taking a bath. She introduced me to this, like, really cool YouTuber who explained the wasted potential of, I think it was called Brave? Yeah, it was called Brave. Like, the wasted potential of Brave. And how it was tackling, like, this really cool social issue of, like, what's it called? The expectations of women in a medieval setting and blah 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 blah. And then they turned her into a freaking bear! And then all of a sudden the plot got all confusing and, like, dumb, and, like, it's like they started a new plot without finishing the first plot, and then they rushed to finish the first plot without any real satisfying conclusion, and then tried to get through to the B plot. And I'm just like, that was such a wasted effort! Why did they have to turn her into Brother Bear? Or Mother Bear at this point? Because they turned the mother into a bear in order to solve their issues. And I'm just like, that was such wasted potential. I'd have been so much more invested in the movie if it weren't, you know, if it weren't basically just Mother Bear, beat for beat. Anyways, yeah, what's it called? That was our night, you know, we ended up sleeping. What's it called? Also, turns out, Megu tends to cough a lot before sleeping. And after waking up. I was like, are you okay? She's like, yeah, it's just like this in the morning. And I was like, is she okay? Doesn't seem... I guess it should be fine if she's lived like this her entire life, but like... Is this fixable? Like, the entire time, I'm just like... are you okay? Because I don't cough before I sleep, you know? I just fall asleep and wake up with a stiff neck because I have terrible sleeping posture. No, she drank water. And, you know, I got her some of the water from the little concierge thingamabob. And it was nice, yeah? It was good. We have a tiny little fridge that we could put the water bottles in. It was all good. Oh, right, I forgot. When we got there, we tried Wendy's. And, you know, Wendy's... At first, when I took a bite out of it, I was like, this is disappointing. Like, I had the, which one was it? The one with the bacon and the mushroom in the one burger. I had one of those. And I don't know if it was because we waited until we got to the hotel to actually eat, but it kind of wasn't that great when I first took a bite out of it. But then, as I kept eating, I started to notice this really pleasant aftertaste of the mushroom, the gravy, the bacon at the back of my throat, and I was like, okay, actually, I can get behind this. You know? That's fine. I can get behind that. I'd be okay eating this. I'd even seek it out sometimes. I could feel myself craving it. And yeah, you know? It might have just been that the rest of it wasn't that great because, well, we waited until we got to the airport and it took us like another 20 minutes of walking. But yeah. Yeah! They didn't have the baked potatoes anymore! That was horrible! Like, that was the thing I was looking forward to the most, the baked potatoes. But I was looking at the menu, I was like, where's the baked potatoes? And they just didn't have it, and I was just like, I was so sad. When did they take that out? That was so, like, disappointing. I was like, okay, I guess I'll just have a normal burger like a normal person instead of eating carbs at the middle of the night. Yeah, I was so devastated when they didn't have the burgers. Like, you know, the carbs and, like, yeah. Anyways, you know, come the next day, we ended up waking up early, and we had this little buffet thingy where we could have as much as we want. There wasn't a big selection, but, like, they had bacon, they had hot dogs, they had chicken adobo. The chicken adobo was kind of dry, but what can you do? They also had, what's it called? They had a couple of other things I didn't really try. I know they had congee, and they had pancakes and eggs, and, like, they had a little salad bar, a little cereal bar, and, like, free drinks that looked like they were basically, mocktails. It was nice. It was really nice. kind of wish I ate a little more, but I was, like, you know, I just woken up. My digestive system takes a while to kick in. So we didn't really eat that much. Which was fine, because we were gonna meet up with Atelier Tea Party for lunch anyways. So, you know, we ate, we went back to our room, had some final preparations, brushed our teeth, packed everything else up, and we ended up getting a grab towards where Akari lived, which was great. And like, what's it called? You know, they dropped us off, they asked us which unit was in, and now comes the beloved saga of Karoline the Necromancer. Or Karoline Arts. Okay, so Karo lived in this slightly more wealthy area of Manila. I won't say where, but like what's it called? It was fairly well guarded, you know. Even getting to the entrance, there was a guard for you to get towards the entrance, and then at the actual entrance there was another guard saying, and like that other guard looked at us so suspiciously. Like, what's it called? They were like, who are you here for? And I was just like, Karoline? And then they looked at me even more suspiciously, like, Karoline who? I was like, give me a sec, let me check my phone. And like, I frantically scrolled through our Discord to figure out what Karo's last name was. And I was like, okay, give me a sec, I just need to find it. There it is, Necromancer. Karoline Necromancer. And the moment he heard the last name, he was like, oh, Miss Necromancer, yeah, come in, we're expecting you, don't worry. I was just like, wow, he's so much friendlier now that he knows we're not a threat. Yeah, just like, you know, and you know, we waited at the ground floor waiting for Akari to get down, because she had to strap the babies in, like Toasty and her other dog named Carol. And, you know, me and Mega were just waiting and waiting. Like, we were getting nervous, just like, oh my god. We're finally gonna meet Kata, the Necromancer, Karoline Arts. You know? And then we hear the dogs in the background. It's like, that must be Kata! And yeah. You know, it was great. You know, we were super excited, and the dogs were barking at us, and it was fine. She had to take the dogs with her so that we could be introduced in neutral grounds, so that the dogs aren't too offended by us being in the apartment. Because apparently, with Akari, Toasty really hated Akari. But yeah, you know, didn't stop them from barking once we were actually inside of her apartment. And, like, you know, I dropped off some things for her, you know, the gifts and all that. And she gave us, ooh, I'm actually eating one of them right now. She gave us some snacks from her Japan trip, and it was great. Like, she got us the chocolate and this sort of, not sure what it is, but it's like the flavoring you put on rice. Like, norikake or something? Yeah, it's like seaweed with some flavoring and stuff that you put on top of rice, and you kind of eat it that way. And, you know, it looks good. I haven't tried it yet, but the one I am trying right now is the gummy bear. What's it called? Yeah, this gummy bear from Pocket Monsters or Pokemon. Good. Really good. I actually don't want to eat it too fast, because it's actually really nice. It's rare for me to actually really like junk food. Like, every now and then I get cravings, but this is the type of thing where I just kind of keep eating. It's good. I really like it. But, yeah, she also got us, like, a little Hatsune Miku standee. Like a plastic stand thingy with, like, a acrylic stand? What are these called? It's the Snow Miku Kuromi Hokkaido thingy. If you guys want to look that up. The rest of it's in Japanese kanji. I can't really read what else. But it's by Sanrio. Krypton Future Media. Diaparo.net. Anyways. I'll probably assemble that another time. But yeah. It looks really nice and pretty. I'm really thankful for Kara for all she did for us. Like, she was very accommodating and, like, she'd treat us to food all the time. Eventually, I was like, I'll give you food. I'll buy your lunch. And I'll make the excuse that I need change. It was like, okay, fine. It was great. Kara's, like, the best person to be around when you're having, like, a day out with your friends. Like, she's very cheerful and very, you know, very nice. We did wait for Akari as well. Like, eventually Akari got to the place and was like, you know, immediately when Kara brought Akari in, Toasty was trying to attack Akari, and I'm just like, wow, Toasty has it in for you. Because, like, even though Toasty was barking at us, he wasn't particularly trying to attack us, but Toasty was, like, straight up running towards her and everything. It was just like, Toasty's barking was making Carol, like the other dog, kind of more uppity and more nervous, as making her growl. And Carol's growl is really scary, actually. Like the what's it called? Have you guys ever heard what a blood metal growl sounds like? Kind of sounds like that. And she's such a tiny Rottweiler? Schnauzer. Schnauzer, yes! She was such a tiny schnauzer too, like, I didn't expect that from her at all. Her barks are scary. Anyways, yeah, it was a fun meeting. Yeah, showed us around her house, and yeah, the smaller it is, the angrier it is. Yeah, Toasty especially, but Carol was such a good little dog though, like, she was quiet, she didn't, like, act out very much unless Toasty was already acting out. And yeah, it was cool. What's it called? Shortly afterwards, we did have lunch, like a late lunch, over at, I think the restaurant was called Chibo? And I don't know what it is about that restaurant, but I ordered a steak just to compare, because last time I went to an Asian country, their steak was terrible. I was like, this isn't, like... I was under the impression that most beef in Asian countries weren't that great. Because when I went to Singapore, their steak was dry. And it was some sort of fancy-ass looking, high-end looking place, too. So I was like, okay, I'll just compare to see if the Philippine steak is any good. Oh my god, it was the best steak I had in a long while. I don't know what they did to that steak, but that was good. That was comparable to, like, the good steaks that you could get in the better restaurants here in Australia. And I was like, this is just a restaurant in the middle of in the mall? Like, not even its own booth? Like, you know those restaurants or cafes where sometimes they have, like, a little shop in the middle? Like, surrounding them are all the shops and all that, and right in the middle, they just have their little store there. I was like, oh my god, it's so good! How is it this good? Like, I didn't expect much when the sides were potato chips and, you know. But it was so good. And I'm just like, oh my god. I was in heaven. Yeah, like, the three of them ended up leaving me for a bit to watch the dogs, and I got really close to the dogs for a bit, you know? Because they all wanted to get coffee, and I couldn't have coffee because of my pills, okay? I was still on the pills there. My pills are essentially equivalent to taking 5 cups of coffee in terms of getting energy. It doesn't actually have caffeine. It just gives you that burst of energy. Because it increases your metabolism and makes you feel less hungry. Which is also a bad thing in this because we were planning on having a food trip. But I'll get to that in a bit. A lot of our plans were unfortunately cancelled because of the flooding, but yeah. We weren't originally gonna mention this, but the cooking stream, the reason why it took so long for us to get to the cooking stream, and why it was taking us forever to go live, was because, like, we weren't originally gonna mention this, but I saw Akari mention it in her stream, so it should be fine now. She got caught up in the floods. Took her an hour to get a grab, and then 2 hours to get to the grab because of the, get through with the grab, because of the floods. Yeah, it was a little bit bad. And she was like, go on with the stream without me. And I was just like, What do you mean go on with the stream without you? You have two of the things we actually really need. Just like, no, it's okay. Just go on with the stream without me. And it's just like, you have the garlic and you have the stand that we're gonna prop up the camera in. What do you mean, start? We can't start without you. He was like, oh, right. I completely forgot about that. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just kind of eating the gummy bears. So good. Anyways. What's it called? Yeah, so we had to wait. You know, the stream got delayed for about half an hour? Which is funny, oh no, it was an entire hour. Which is funny, because originally we were gonna do it at 9 p.m., but we were like, but that's a little bit late to be having dinner, you know? So we moved it to 8 p.m. It got moved back to 9 p.m. anyways, because of the floods. And the next day after that, we were supposed to go to Enchanted Kingdom, but we couldn't because of the floods. It wasn't gonna be fun if it was gonna be raining, so we just decided no. We're not gonna do that. We just ended up staying at home, and what did we do on the Thursday? Well, first of all, we'll get back to that. We have to rewind again, because I got a little off topic, but what's it called? You know, we had lunch at Chibo, or Sibo. I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Chibo, but it was really nice. It was really good. And I can understand why Karo put us there. It was amazing. Yeah, we ended up having that at Chibo, and then we ended up, what's it called? We ended up shopping for a bit, you know, have some games, look around, because there was a data blitz nearby. And we basically just hung out at her apartment planning the entire week, the entire time afterwards. And, yeah, it was fun. It was cool. What's it called? You know, we ended up, what's it called? We ended up deciding to finally head back, or at the very least, check in to my Airbnb. Eventually, at like 5-6 p.m. that day, we decided to leave. Unfortunately, because it was rush hour, there were no grabs coming to get us. So what Akari suggested was, you know what? It's 20 minutes, but I think it'll take longer to get a grab anyway, so we might as well just walk it. I will remind you. I had a 20-kilo luggage bag. And she was carrying a 7-kilo luggage bag because Megu's carry-on was about 7 kilos-ish, you know? And, like, I bought her a giant plushie at the airport because, like, I felt like she really needed it. This plushie will come in handy later on, by the way. But yeah, Akari was like, oh, it's okay, I'll check in with Lore and help him, you know, get your stuff in the Airbnb. Water break? Okay, give me a second. So we walk about 20 minutes. And it didn't take 20 minutes, okay? It took half an hour for us to get there. I was carrying the 20-kilo luggage. Akari was carrying the 7-kilo luggage. What's it called? I'm not entirely sure what else she had there. Right, she also had the mic. But yeah, I was carrying the 20-kilo luggage along with my 7-kilo backpack because I had, like, what's it called? Megu wanted to get her mic checked at a service center, and they didn't have any in Cebu. They could only get it done under warranty here there in Manila. So it was like, okay, we'll bring it over. It'll be fine, you know? And yeah, it was fine. What's it called? We ended up kind of sort of, you know, carrying everything ourselves. And it started raining. It started kind of, like, not a heavy rain, but it was starting to drizzle a little bit. And somewhere midway, the streets stopped looking modern and started looking really old. really decrepit. And I was just like, is it safe for us, for two of us to be like... Okay, here's the thing. Let me get back to this. When we first met, I was dressed up in like this... What's it called? I had this really nice raincoat because they told me to bring a raincoat in case it was raining. And my mother got me a really nice looking raincoat. Alright, take care, Razorgon. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I hope you had a wonderful time. Yeah, they got me a raincoat, and I was wearing that raincoat. And I was wearing some fancy looking pants that Atelier Tea Party bought for me for my birthday. And, yeah. I was just, the entire time there, thinking, are these people gonna rob us? Because Akari was also dressed really nice there. Her dress was borderline cosplay, basically. Like, her dress was basically nondescript cosplay, in my eyes. That's how it looked like. And, what's it called? You know, that was how we ended up looking. And we were just going through these crowds of people in these narrow-ass streets, trying to get to the place where I booked an Airbnb. And I was like, did this Airbnb lie to me? The pictures looked really nice. And true enough, it was really nice when we got there. It was the Novotel. Well, it was a particular hotel. It was kind of like a Novotel, kind of. Like, it was kind of like a Novotel, kind of. But like, every room was like an apartment. I've never been to a Novotel before, so I don't know if that's accurate or not, but I think it's like that. This Novotel looking ass place that looks somehow extra fancy. And, you know, we walked up to it and it's just like, okay, cool. So they built this in the middle of what looks to be a poverty-stricken zone. And like, I was just sitting there thinking, this feels like an insult to everybody who lives around it. I don't know why, but this just feels like an attack on all the locals living around it, because nobody there looked very wealthy. Some of them even had like genuinely ripped clothes or dirty clothes. Like, I was just sitting there thinking, is this okay? Anyways, we got to the hotel, it was fine, we clocked in and out. One thing I have to complain about though, I hated that we had to book the gym and the pool in advance, at least a day beforehand, for the specific hour in which you wanted to use it in. You couldn't just book it for a specific day. You had to book the specific hour in which you wanted to use it in. So it was, you know, it was very limiting. I ended up only using the pool once, and I forced myself to use it because it was raining. It was a small pool too, it wasn't that great. But yeah, wasn't that good. I just forced myself to swim to get a little bit of exercise and, you know, make use of the amenities as they were. But yeah, I really didn't get to do very much in terms of the amenities provided for us. But they did have Netflix and YouTube Premium, so that was good. That was great for me and Megu. Anyways. There was another thing. The sofa bed was not a sofa bed. It had a little pull-out compartment at the front that gave you another slot for somebody else to sleep in. It did not pull up into a double sofa bed. It was not a very good bed. There were, what's it called? They had pillows for it, but the pillows were so flat that the moment you laid your head on it, it actually didn't feel like there was anything there left. Like, it was very flat, you know, very worn out. But, yeah, it was not the best, but you know what? Who needs sleep? But yeah, I gave Megu the main bedroom because, well, the guest bedroom with the sofa bed in it didn't have a lock, and the door kind of occasionally slid open on its own. So I was like, you know what? Megu can choose which one she sleeps in. She can have the king bedroom with the queen size bed, the comfy looking sheets, everything else, all that. Yeah, I'll just sleep in the guest bedroom, I guess. I was the one who forced her into this, so, you know, it's fine. But yeah, unfortunately that didn't give me much rest every day. Like, it was actually taxing sleeping on it. There was only pain to be had in that. But yeah, you know, first day, Akari and I got to it, you know, she helped me unload things, and it was nice, you know. She was complaining about how dead her arms were carrying that 7 kilo, what's it called? 7 kilo luggage bag that was being used as a carry-on. I'm just sitting here thinking, yeah, he must have had it tough. Looks at my 20 kilo bag with my 7 kilo backpack and my bulky ass belt bag that had my Nintendo Switch. I was like, yeah. And you know, I gave her a little bit of a shoulder massage. She's like, oh hey, that feels good, that's great, while she was waiting for her grab to go home. And yeah, you know, I took another grab going towards where Karo lived. And you know, by the time I got there, they finally finished recording. And yeah, we were like, okay, let's have dinner together. And yeah, it was fun. Had a little food thing together. We, where did we eat? Hold on a sec. Yeah, we ate at this Japanese restaurant thingy. We ate at this Japanese restaurant that had like, what's it called? Rice bowls and everything, and the music stopped. Give me a sec. I just realized I've been streaming so long that that thing I was no longer... You know what, this should be fine. But yeah, we actually already... we ended up having dinner at that place. It was nice. What's it called? I was actually still a little bit full from lunch, so I think most of us didn't really finish what we ate, but Megu was like, hey, can we take this to go? So she could have a little, what's it called? No. The thing she had to go was the, what's it called? Was the Chibo stuff that she bought. The pasta from Chibo. Because she liked it, but she couldn't finish it. Because she also had a small stomach. Oh, speaking of small, I'm not sure if Megu is actually 169 centimeters, because I was significantly taller than her. I feel like I was at least 10 centimeters taller than her. But that could have just been me. I could just be inflating myself. I don't know. I was definitely taller, but yeah. Anyways, what's it called? Yeah, we had these little Japanese rice bowls. I think they had udon or something. It was nice. It was good. Toasty was still there, barking at other people. Oh, right. On their way to meet us, there was this little Indian family that was going down towards the entrance. And as they passed by, because the kid was so energetic and, like, you know, really all over the place, Toasty and Carol barked at them so loudly that he cried. And the security guard laughed, and the family was like, okay, let's see this big, scary dog that scared our child to death. And they looked at him, and then they laughed for a bit. And then they talked, and they were like, to the kid, see, this is what happens when you're active and all that. But they were laughing so hard because... like, the child got so scared over those tiny little adorable puppies. It was just like... even the security guards were laughing. It was just like... oh, that poor kid. Like, Toasty and Carol, I believe, are both rescue dogs, so they're a bit skittish. So, you know, you do some really energetic stuff in front of them without them expecting it. It's just like, you know, it's a recipe for them to bark at you. They were so cute and all that. Deserved, indeed. Just eating a little bit of the gummy bears because I'm a little bit hungry. Had a late lunch, so I was like, okay, I won't have to eat until after stream. But now I'm kind of hungry. I'm just nibbling a little on the gummy bear. Sorry about that. But yeah. Anyways. So that was fun. We ended up taking a grab back to our place. I explained to them we are never, ever, ever, ever walking through that neighborhood at night or at morning. And politely, I got a grab. You know, I got a grab. We ended up, like, you know, giving each other a farewell. And, you know, we went to our Novotel. Yeah, I'm just gonna call it a Novotel now. Because, honestly, it's basically a Novotel. They can call it an Airbnb however they want. But the way it's run, how you have to get a visitor pass, how you have to, like, what's it called? Reserve everything and blah, 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 blah. It's a Novotel. I don't care if it's an Airbnb, it's a Novotel. That's what I'm gonna call it. But yeah, what's it called? There were a few issues with the Airbnb that we got. Like, the socket directly behind the microwave wasn't working. And at first we thought it was just the microwave. Then I had the idea, hang on, what if it's just the sockets? So I moved the microwave, plugged it into the socket closer to the stove, and microwaved Megu's leftovers because she wanted to eat something while we were watching Hell's Paradise. And yes, I got her to watch Hell's Paradise, people! It was great! She loved it! I loved it. But yeah, what's it called? Yeah, she was like, I want to have a snack in the middle of eating, in the middle of watching it. So, you know, it was great. So, you know, I heated it up for her, and I boiled some water because you can't drink water in the Philippines without boiling it. Thankfully, their kettles are specifically designed for that because, what's it called? Here's what I noticed about kettles in the Philippines. They take a lot longer to boil, and they stay boiling for longer. And I'm pretty sure that's because you need to leave it for that long, to boil it for that long in order to be able to drink it safely, because it's not potable. It's not like Australian water where you can just drink straight from the tap. You actually have to, what's it called? You actually have to boil it. You know, it took a little bit, but we filled up the glass and everything. It was fine. And yeah, it was all good. We watched Hell's Paradise all the way through to 3:30, which was a terrible idea, by the way. Because the next day we had to wake up and meet Atelier Tea Party again. And actually do the shopping for the cooking stream that we planned the day beforehand. Usually has supremacy indeed. Oh man, that poor guy, what's his name? Glasses guy. That poor glasses guy. Sad for him, but I'm so happy that he got at least a bittersweet ending with the person that he truly, truly loved. You know? I mean, that's how I'd like to go. You know? Held in the arms of somebody I truly care for and admire. The one I admire the most. It'd be great. But yeah. At least he got to die in a beautiful way. Anyways. I'm pretty sure Megu is now cursing me because she wants to see Season 2 already. And I want to see Season 2 already, and I'm just like, son of a gun. Anyways, just nibble on a few more gummy bears. Thank you so much, Akari, for this. Pocket monsters. Pocket monsters that have been turned into dessert. You read the manga? Okay, okay. Don't spoil a damn thing or I will ban you. Straight to ban. Not even a warning, just straight up banning people. But yeah, what's it called? What's it called? The next day we ended up shopping a little bit, you know? It was fun. What's it called? Yeah, there wasn't really much to do until dinner time, because Akari couldn't meet us until, like, you know, the afternoon. So we just kind of had lunch, you know. Where did we have lunch? I think had lunch in... We have... Trying to think. I'm trying to remember. Where did we have lunch? We had lunch at... I don't remember. But I'm pretty sure it was a place that also had like this charcoal yogurt. But like, what's it called? So we had that for dessert. And yeah, it was great. Wait, no. At the time? Was that the time? No, that was not the time. Was it? No, yes, that was the time. Okay, cool. Yes. And it was fun, you know, it was nice. Our tongues were completely black. As black as my soul. And it was nice, you know, we just had a little food thingy going on. And then we ended up waiting for, yeah, we didn't really do much that day after we finished the shopping. We just kind of waited for Akari at Karo's place, and yeah. Like, we went back to Karo's place, Megu scheduled the stream, and then, you know, made a thumbnail on Karo's laptop. And, you know, we basically just set up everything on our end. Like, I also updated Karo's laptop stuff to see if it'll help improve anytime she has to use the laptop. And yeah. I just ate an Eevee. Now to eat, what is this? A yellow Piplup. Must be a shiny. Oh. Yum, yum, yum. Anyways. Sorry, all the food talk's starting to get me hungry. Now that I'm not there and I've had some time to de-stress and, like, you know, not have to worry about anything, I kind of wish I could go back and try all the foods that was there. Because the mall that we usually hung out in, they had a lot of stuff, okay? They had a lot of stuff, they had a lot of food, they had a lot of different food from all sorts of places, and they were all high quality. Like, you don't understand. You could live there and have all your food experiences there. They were all so cool. And like, yeah, it was great. Yeah, we basically just sort of waited for, we just played Nikkei together while waiting for Akari at Karo's place. My heaven, but not for my wallet. Yeah, that was basically it. But yeah, we didn't do too much until the cooking stream, I don't think. Not that I can remember anyways. I mean, it did take us a bit, so, you know. It did just take us a bit to sort of sort things out with the ingredients and all that. Because we were expecting Akari to get there by 6. So we'd have 2 hours to prepare for the stream. So, like, you know, we got to Karo's place at around, like, I don't know, 12-ish. And then we had lunch. Then we shopped around for a bit. And yeah, you know, I was super tired by that point because we didn't get much sleep. And my sofa bed is really not comfy at all. And yeah, yeah, we just ended up waiting until Akari got there and we had the cooking stream, which was fun. Sadly, I did not realize that Karo's stove could not actually get hot enough to do the reverse sear method I was thinking of using. But yeah, it was alright. This steak and all that turned out fine, actually. If a little bit too buttery because it didn't get sealed in properly. But they seem to like it, so that's good. And yeah. The very next day, we, what's it called? Wait. Yeah, the very next day we planned out, we were supposed to go to Enchanted Kingdom. but we didn't because of the floods. And instead, Akari tried to get to us. It still took her a very long time to get to us, and we ended up deciding to do a spa day instead. You know, have like a massage thing, and you know, have a mani-pedi, which did wonders for my feet, by the way. My feet were absolutely shredded. Like, there was so much shredded skin there that was just hanging out, that it's been there for months. I was just like, I wonder how I'm gonna fix this. Is there a way to fix this? Maybe I need one of those, pedi, what's it called? Pedi graters, or whatever they're called. But yeah, we ended up doing the mani-pedi. And we only just got the pedi part of it, because we didn't have much time left. Because we were gonna go to a bar afterwards. And yeah, there was that. We ended up going to the bar. I don't care if Akari thinks that she can handle alcohol very well. I don't think she can. She spilt one of the drinks all over the table. She just, like, and she nearly knocked down a really expensive glass bottle too. It's just like, no. You've had one margarita? Or tequila? You've had one drink and one of some other thing. You hadn't even finished this drink yet, and you're already tipsy. And yeah, it was an event. Thankfully, the part of the liquids that were the part of the drink that were about to spill all over my lap did not spill on my lap because I spread my legs. And I gotta say, that has to be the first time, and I'm sorry for the crude joke, but that has to be the first time that spreading my legs has saved my life. But yeah, that was a waste of a drink, unfortunately, but I mean, it was halfway gone. It's fine. Me and Karo had the same drink. Karo said that it was a lot spicier than when she first got it on her own, but she thinks that the reason it's spicier is because they tried to do the drink at the same time and just pour 2 portions for us. So they tried to make it stronger for it. And that is unfortunate because I don't think either of us really enjoyed the extra spice in it. Like, I could have enjoyed it otherwise, but yeah, it wasn't that great. We did get a show out of it though. Like, there was this really cool masked guy who sort of like poured fire all over it and, like, you know, did all these cool ritually stuff. And yeah, it was really cool. I really, like, I did enjoy it. Hello, Kyoryu! Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for joining. Please sit back, relax, and enjoy your stay. But yeah, I eventually ended up giving that to Akari, because she was like, oh, I'll have it! Because apparently her tongue is completely numb to any spice. Oh, right. Speaking of spice, by the way, after the stream, when we decided to eat the, you know, the steaks and potatoes that we cooked on our cooking stream, she tried to prank me by putting cooking oil, or like chili oil, on the potatoes. And she got so mad when I didn't react to it. She was like, what's it called? Hey, did you notice that one of them seemed to be more seasoned than the other? And I was like, oh, I mean, I guess. It might have just been like the salt, I guess. Like, it could have been how I cooked it. Like, one of them was probably in there for longer. And, like, you know, I was giving excuses for it, not realizing what she was trying to get at. And she was like, oh my god, fine, I'll tell you. I put chili oil in one of them. And it's like, oh, that's the spice I was tasting. I thought I just put too much pepper on one of them. And she was like, damn it, I should have poured more in. She shouldn't have. It's a good thing she didn't, because I have violent reactions to spiciness when I'm not expecting it. Like, what's it called? On one of the days, we were having lunch at this place, and like, there was this yellowy paste that they put on the side. Like, it was just a drop of paste at the side that they put on one of the foods that we had. Like, I dabbed a tiny bit of it onto the chopsticks. It was like a tiny droplet. Not even a full drop, just a tiny droplet. I put it on my tongue to see what it was. Oh my god! I had a violent reaction. Like, I slammed my chopstick onto the table. And, you know, that was just a tiny drop. If Akari had put, like, the actual, you know, not just the residual oil from the chili oil, but the full chili onto one of the, things that I ate on Karo's dinner table, which is glass, by the way, none of us would have eaten dinner because everything would have shattered. But yeah, what's it called? I didn't react to it at all. But, yeah, the yellow thing that was on that one piece later on was, it turned out to be, like, artificial, what's the green stuff that they put on? Wasabi, there we go. Artificial wasabi. Which was really stinging my tongue. Immediately. There is no warning, just the moment it touched my tongue. Ah! But, yeah, you know, that was fun. Anyways, the next day we sort of ended up, what's it called? Next day I sort of cooked a little bit of the fried rice, I think. No, it was the day after that I cooked the fried rice, because the next day we had a spa day. It was the day that we had the Vampire the Masquerade thing that I cooked the fried rice. And yeah. It was fun. Somehow they liked it a lot. They were like, oh my god, that's so good. And I'm just like, really though? Is it really? Like, the entire time I had like my X to doubt face. Just like, are you sure? Kidding me? Really? Tasted kind of bland to me. Is it just me? They're like, yeah, it was really good. Like, it was actually flavorful. Like, there's like a sort of, the beef melts in really well with the, what's it called? With the aftertaste of whatever you did to the rice and everything. And I was just like, I just had a tiny bit of patis to it and salt and pepper. It's just like, are you guys sure you're not making this up? Because I can take it, you know. I have a high standard for my cooking. They're like, yeah, it's good, especially since this is just leftovers. And they were like, and I was like, hey, if you say so. There's something wrong with my taste buds? Can I only taste certain things? Yeah, it was one of those things. Like, maybe I was just, you know, maybe I was just so tired that my taste buds were just dead to the world. Because I think from that point on, I think I was so tired that I kind of just, like, couldn't really taste that much either. So it didn't matter what I ate from that point on. Like, what's it called? Yeah, it just wasn't really all that flavorful, now that I think about it. A lot of the things I ate were kind of just, They're sustenance. Yeah, maybe that's why. Yeah, maybe I just got super tired. So next time, I'm gonna allow myself a longer stay, maybe even an entire month next time. I'm gonna have a proper food trip with everybody, with no rushing, you know, and I'll have a gaming laptop by then so I can stream, or like I can force Meggy to come with me without worrying about streaming and stuff like that. And yeah, she can stream on my laptop, you know, stuff like that. And it'll be fun when I actually, you know, don't skimp out on the costs of the thing and make myself even more tired than I did. On the last day, we ended up meeting with, what's it called? With some of Akari's friends IRL. and we had laser arena, and it was fun, you know. And on the last day, this is actually the most fun we had the entire time, I think. But on the last day, we just ended up going to an arcade and playing rhythm games together and an idle shooting game. And I'm not kidding about that, an idle shooting game. There's an arcade game there in which you can shoot idols. Zombified idols. You get to shoot them with like this serum that temporarily calms them down. And eventually, when you've calmed them down enough and you play music, they do this little dance thingy, and it was so funny. And like, we also had like a 4-way, what's it called? Air hockey battle. It was Karo and Akari versus me and Megu. And I won that fight hands down! But yeah. Anyways, we had 2 rounds of it, and we won both times. It was just like, hell yeah. I still got it! Yeah, it was fun. Funnily enough, us going to the arcade is probably the biggest highlight of the entire thing, apart from the Vampire the Masquerade thing. That was fun too. Like, frickin' Toria dogs, and like, it was fun crying. It was just fun crying all over the place, you know? And like, yeah. I had a lot of fun with them, and I really wish that some of the things weren't rushed because of such a limited amount of time together. I wish I could have stayed for longer, and I wish I could have, you know, done some things better, planned some things better. You know, given everybody the time I really wanted to give everyone, you know? Instead of us just kind of rushing through certain things to make sure that we didn't, you know, skip over the important stuff, like the cooking stream, or the Vampire the Masquerade stream, or, like, you know, the stuff we planned, and, like, you know, I wish we had time for all the other disturbances, like the flood and the, you know, Haro having to touch grass for certain events, because of, you know, IRL work stuff and all that, and I wish I had made more time for them, because honestly, I feel like I didn't spend enough time with everybody. Honestly, I really miss them, you know? It's been a long time since I last had a sort of, you know, gathering with a lot of people, and, you know, a squad that I could really trust. I mean, every now and then I'd meet up with like 1 or 2 people that I've met online or something, or, you know, some old school friends. You know, that's fine, but these are people I genuinely put above the rest in terms of like closeness and friendship, and, you know, the things that we've been through, like, what's it called? I think you all know how toxic I was during the Splatoon contest thing. Part of it was me playing it up, but part of it was me being actually genuinely angry, and, you know, that wasn't fair on them. I was going through a lot, and I was just letting everything get out of control. Instead of just playing it up, I actually, you know, ended up getting mad, and they talked to me about it, and they were really understanding about things, but they were also very strict about, you know, the things that I did and how I should avoid certain things, and I really appreciate them for talking to me about that, and, you know, actually sitting down and telling me these things instead of just, you know, suddenly kicking me out without me understanding, because, well, prior to vtubing, I actually did stop talking to anybody outside of, you know, just the passing conversation between work mates for like about 3 years in total, when I stopped singing and I stopped interacting with other people because of a certain traumatic event I can't really get into on stream at all. And, you know, it feels like they've done a lot for me and really helped me be a little bit more like a person, as I should be, as opposed to just somebody who's just fumbling around trying to imitate what he thinks a person should be. And, you know, they've helped me grow a lot. I owe a lot to them, and I really, really miss them. Yeah. I wish I could redo everything, you know? And, yeah, sorry. There's a lot of things I really want to be able to do with them. You know, things I want to be able to experience with them. I know we'll have time in the future, but there's a lot of, you know, I've had a lot of experiences in the past with squads that I've met up with, and I thought I could trust and everything, and eventually, one way or another, full disclosure, we've always either just drifted apart or something big tore us apart, and a huge part of me that's sort of... There's a huge part of me that kind of just feels like there's a limited time left now that we've met because of past experiences. And I know that's stupid. I know it's a dumb anxiety, it's PTSD from all my other previous encounters. Like, I really don't want anyone from Atelier Tea Party to leave if they don't want to or have to, or, you know? I want us all to be friends, and like, I really love them, you know? And it's just really hard after numbing myself to the world. Like, I've been alone for quite a while, and I've been even more alone ever since I moved out of my mother's place. Because now, the only time I get to talk to anybody, you know, is like either at work, where I kind of hate a lot of people. Like, there are very few people I actually respect at work, so I don't really get close to anybody. Or on the occasion that I find some time to be able to call my mother, usually when I'm driving to some faraway place, so I have a bit of time during traffic. And, you know, I don't get to talk to a lot of people, and I've kind of hardened myself to that a lot. And being with them, even in this week and a half, I felt a really big attachment to them, and I don't ever want to lose that, you know? I want to spend more time with them. And, you know, it doesn't really help with all the anxious thoughts, like all the sort of intrusive voices in my head telling me, you have a limited time now, or you probably did something wrong or awkward that can never be undone, or, you know, stuff like that. I'm sure we will. But, you know, everybody's socially drained, and, like, you know, I know, based on past experiences, whenever one of our members is socially drained, they rarely ever talk, you know? Like, they'll sometimes post about something, but they won't really respond about things until much later on. And, you know, that's just how we operate. That's, you know, that's how I've learned with them. But because everybody's so socially drained, because we're all introverts and, you know, they all need a bit of rest from social stuff, I can't help but feel a little bit scared. Even more so, because they're not here to, you know, they're not here to sort of alleviate my anxieties. And, like, you know, Karo still posts from time to time in our little close group friends social Discord server just between ATP. And, you know, I appreciate that, even if she's too socially drained to really reply to anything. It's nice to see that they're at least thinking about each other, you know? But that doesn't stop the voices, and I really, really, really miss them. And I can't stop missing them because... And I'm also dreading, like, on top of all this, I'm also dreading having to go back to work tomorrow because I had a lot of time to numb myself from that hell, and I have to go back to it tomorrow after being given the opportunity to spend this week and a half with my friends and just rest and feel genuine comfort and feel like I'm actually not just some corporate slave going to a 9 to 6 job 6 days a week, trying to make sure I don't fall behind on rent or bills and still, you know, pay for all the projects I want to do for this channel and everything. And, you know, I'm only gonna miss them even more because of it, and it's gonna be hard for me to acclimate again to the tougher environments of, you know, having to deal with a toxic workplace and trying to grow is like, you know, I do want to eventually, hopefully, you know, grow with everybody and, you know, be able to be recognized by people, you know, stuff like that. I'm just crying a little bit. I'm not afraid to cry about it, honestly. It's not as if I'm crying over something tedious. These are all really important people to me. Wish I could redo the whole thing and not have skimped out on the costs of the travel and the accommodations so that I could have enjoyed more and like had more energy to give to them, because half the time, honestly, I felt like I was just a mess trying to figure out how to appear normal and grasping onto whatever I could actually grab onto in order to join in on the conversation, because I didn't have the energy to think of things for myself. And I feel like I wasn't able to give that to them. I wasn't able to give my all and be fun to be around, and, you know, it felt like I was mostly just there. Even though I was enjoying their company and their presence, it felt like I was just there, not really contributing too much to it, you know? Like, sure, I brought everybody in together, like, you know, I worked hard so that I could make a scenario in which we were all hanging out, because, like, you know, some of us live far away, and, you know, sure, there's that, but I really wish I could have done more. Like, I wish I hadn't booked on a day, on the week that the sun was going to, you know, just not be there. I wish I had planned better. Wish I could see them again, you know? I miss hugging all of them. It was a really fun trip that I'm really gonna miss. And I really wish we weren't countries apart. I wish everybody could just meet up together, you know? Wish we had more time. And, you know, doesn't help that time is such a terrible thing in my head. Like, I could have maybe booked for another week and just taken the hit on my salary, because I could have survived that for a bit, especially since it's tax season. I could have done my taxes and gotten that back anyways. But I was just so... I planned to make time for the plans that we had. I didn't plan for anything else. I wish I did. I wish I planned for any disturbances so we can move it to 7 other days. I wish I planned for days where we could just chill for a bit and just, you know, socially recover so that we can enjoy each other's company more when we do spend time together. But I wasn't thinking about that when I first booked the flight. I was thinking, oh, this is how many days I can stay. without, you know, this is how many days I can stay without, you know, losing any salary, because that's the amount of hours I've built up on my annual leave. But I should have taken that hit, honestly. I could have taken that hit and feel bad about it, and maybe I wouldn't have been so sporadic about certain things as well, and like maybe everybody would have had more time to enjoy with each other, you know? Like when somebody says, like when either Akari or Karo says, oh, sorry, we might not be able to make it to here, or like our social battery is drained, but we want to hang out anyways because, you know, you're only going to be here for a short amount of time. I didn't want them to have to make those types of accommodations because we were going to be there, you know? For a short amount of time. I should have thought of all that, honestly. I should have taken everyone's advice and just taken some, you know, hours off of leave. Like, unpaid leave. And I could have spent more time with them. I could have had more memorable times with them. I know everybody had a good time in the end, but I can't help but feel a bit guilty, you know? And it's gonna be a long time before we see each other again, and again, with the PTSD of previous friendships, I just feel a little like I've let things down, you know? I know they don't feel that way, but in my standards, you know, I, as somebody who's trying to chase after the ideal version of me, because I know how deeply flawed I am, and how it feels like half the time I'm barely even a person, you know? It just put into perspective that I didn't even think of all the other things, because I just didn't even realize that was a thing until it happened. Just disappointed in myself is all. And above all else, I really miss them. Sorry, I need a minute. I don't want anything to happen to them. I really hope they enjoyed it a lot, and I was able to make memorable memories for them, you know? I hope we can continue to grow as a team. I hope we can meet again. Sorry, I'm a lot. Like, on the final day, I booked my flight at night, but nobody was really free on that night, and the entire time I was kind of just alone in the airport. You know, I obviously booked a, what's it called? A temporary stay at like one of those, you know those holes in the wall where they put a bed in there and you just kind of draw the curtain down, and yeah, hang on, give me a sec, I need to get some tissues. It's getting hard to talk. Excuse me. Right. Yeah, I booked one of those things and got a massage while waiting, but the entire time I just felt anxious without them. I felt alone. It started getting me thinking, once I get home, once I go back to my apartment after my mother picks me up and I grab all my things that I left at her place, I'll be alone again. Really long time, and because everybody's so socially drained, I can guarantee that be at least about another week before we can really get back to normal levels of social levels, you know? That's fine. I want them to take that time to rest. But I'm just gonna be spending this entire time dreading and missing them and, you know, it sometimes feels almost cruel exposing somebody to a better life when they know that person has to go back to a terrible life. And while I wouldn't say mine is that terrible per se, there were a lot of things that I was already sort of hanging by a thread on, you know? In terms of work, in terms of having friends to talk to or spend time with in real life, in terms of growing. I forgot about all that while I was spending time with them because it was so fun. It was nice seeing how active and how energetic Akari is. She really is just like a dog in real life. It's fun to see how expressive and how passionate Karo is when she's talking about her passions and her school life, like back when she was still in college, you know, in like film school and art school, stuff like that. And like, you know, and it was fun seeing Megu open up a bit more and like get to experience all the things she never got to. It was nice. I wanted more of that. And when it was time to get back, I just spent most of my time crying inside of my little cubicle in that little short stay thing. And yeah. Honestly, I've cried a lot. Well, the fact that I'm still crying now, oh, wish I was a little, kind of makes me wish I was a little stronger. I mean, look at me, I'm the crybaby tyrant overlord. I want more of those moments with my friends. I want to be able to meet them again. This time, have a genuinely fun time with each other. No restrictions, no actions that were taken out of a rush because we can just delay it for a bit. And even if I did book that trip for longer, would we have had the time considering everyone else's schedule? But everyone would have been able to delay things anyways. It'd be nice if we could all grow together and just, you know, succeed in the projects that we want so that we could just take our work wherever we want to and have fun. You know, kind of like all those other big YouTubers and VTubers and Twitch streamers. It'd be nice if I could work at home, at the very least, so that I could stay in the Philippines and, you know, get the salary of this place while living in a third world country because, well, I'm sure you can all tell how good that would be, considering how much cheaper it is in the Philippines than here in Australia. And, oh, one thing actually, there is something that I kind of found funny. When I got back, I was thinking of buying a bottle of water. I forgot how expensive bottles of waters are here in Australia compared to the Philippines. It was like $4 for a bottle in the airport, whereas I could get a bottle of water in a supermarket in the Philippines for like 10 pesos, 12 pesos. Which, to give you an idea, an Australian dollar is 35 pesos at the moment. It is not... It's, you know... It is not even $1 there to get a bottle of water. Yeah. I'm also gonna miss the prices there. It was really easy to, It was really easy to survive the entire week splurging. Despite only having, like, I don't know, 500 bucks? No, it wasn't bitter. It was not bitter, it was actual water. But yeah. Gonna miss him a lot. It was nice that we finally met. At the very least, I have a little photo of everybody that I can just stare at and cry all over again. I'm not that easy to cry. It's a lot of a mixture of emotions that I really sometimes wish I never had, you know? It's the thought that counts, Wes. But if you want, you can always donate. I'm joking. Turned into my next dono goal. Pay for Atelier Tea Party's next big getaway. This time we're going to a resort with a really fast internet and gaming laptop so that we can stream in the meantime. Yeah, I'm happy that we did it. Sad that it's over. Angry that I have to go back to work tomorrow. Regretful of all the things I didn't plan out for. And yeah. I just really hope that we can do this again someday. I've never been able to meet up with a squad more than once before, and it's been painful to say the least. These are the people I admire the most, honestly. And yeah. Anyway, sorry for a bit of a downer note there. Yeah. I'll end it there for now, I guess. It was fun, you know. Like, in terms of eating, by the way, Akari is probably the hungriest of us all, as a dog should be. Megu talked big game about eating a lot, but I think she ate the least out of all of us. She'd always take home some leftovers. And what's it called? Kano's just kind of in the middle. She'll eat all the meats and force herself to eat all the meats, but she won't force herself to eat the rest of the rice, which is fine, you know. It's all good. And I kind of just forced myself to eat throughout the entire time because, well, for one, my pills made it so I can't actually feel very hungry. And secondly, for some reason, after a while, I just lost the sense of taste, I think. I don't know what it was, but yeah. Anyways. There's more I could talk about, but I think for today, I think I need that rest. So I think I'll probably also rest up tomorrow. I don't know when I want to stream again, so I won't make any promises, but I think I also need a bit of a break. But there are some offline projects on the way. Like, what's it called? I might make a short about Cebu Pacific, or finish some of the shorts that I was planning on making for the trip, but kind of forgot to finish. And yeah, thanks. I'm really appreciative that people are still coming in and, you know, just greeting me, even just for a bit. It's nice. You know, talking to you guys always makes me a bit happier. And yeah, I'll probably be talking about it more throughout my next few streams, but for now, I'd like to thank everybody so much for joining. Thank you again, everybody, so much. Like I say at the end of every stream, Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you all next time. Take care of yourselves. Sweet nightmares. Bye!